the first thing I'd say is that one should not draw a conclusion that Latin America is going into a solely one direction. I read a year ago a headline in a newspaper saying Latin America is going red because of the election of Correa and Ecuador, of Chavez before, and Evo Morales in Bolivia, as well as the return of Ortega in Nicaragua by the ballot, not by the bullet. I think Latin America is going into all of the colors of the rainbow. Because if you look at what has happened in the last couple of years in terms of elections, you have the president of Mexico, Calderon, who's a conservative, I would say. Oscar Arias, a moderate centrist. You have the four presidents that I have mentioned, the various shades of left, populism. My own president, who's a social democrat. Lula, who's a social democrat. Alan Garcia, who is a new Alan Garcia, more of a conservative, particularly in economic policy. So it is, Latin America is not going into any particular direction. What is happening, though, is that increasingly heads of state are falling into the temptation of re-election. So that somebody said yesterday to me, there's revolution by constitutional change, because the constitution is being changed in many countries, not only in Venezuela. The constitution was changing Colombia to give the possibility for the president to re-elect himself. The constitution was changed in Brazil to allow for re-election. The constitution was changed in Bolivia as well. You look at Latin America, there's been many constitutional changes precisely to allow sitting presidents to re-elect themselves. That, I think, is a complicated tendency, but it goes from left to right. If the people in the end vote for it, if there are controls on the process in the plebiscites, if there's a level playing field so that those that say no versus those that say yes exists, then it is up to them to do it. So we have to be watchful, though, about the rule of law. That, I think, is the key. It is not sufficient that a president is elected democratically. He must continue to rule democratically. And then the international community has a responsibility, particularly in Latin America, because we wrote a charter, a democratic charter, that I was involved in, that says that precisely there's a right to democracy in the Americas, because we have a long tradition, and we had to be very watchful about how the democratic processes at some point can turn into something that is less than democratic, and then we have a responsibility. But I think that everybody said that at least Chavez there won fairly. Who knows what the future will bring, though?